Today we have an exciting topic, which is credit scores. It's learning something new, and you'll be learning a lot. I'm excited to share with you. In 1989, there was something called a FICO score, which came from Fair Isaac Corporation, abbreviated as FICO. A FICO score range is from 0 to 850 and sometimes 900. About 37.2% of people had a score between 750 to 850 in 2012, back then. That's pretty good. Applications with higher FICO scores might get a lower interest, and that would be interest on loans like car loans and mortgages. The three most common credit scores are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. So you can see here, one student here has great scores of 815, 851, and 842 respectively. As you can see, all three scores are not the same, but these scores apply to your FICO score. You can see the breakdown here. I'll talk a little bit more about this. Payment history is 30%. It's looking at if payments are made on time. When they are, your score will go up. Then the amount owed is worth 30% as well. And that applies to credit cards, houses, cars, any types of money you have. You don't want to have too many loans, maybe 2 or 3. You can see the green. 15%, that's the length of credit history, how long you've had credit. To give you a specific example, let's say you have a credit card and you use it for 3 years and then you decide you want to close it once you paid it off. That can have a negative impact on your credit score. Paying it off is good, but it's better to leave your account open and use it once in a while, even if you aren't planning to. Leave a credit card open even when you paid off the balance to help your credit score. You can also get smaller loans for a TV, for example, or others in order to increase your payment history and your scores. You could get credit cards for a store, for example, like Sam's Club, from a bank. You can get lots of different types of credit and credit cards. You could also get a car loan and a home loan. And that new credit is worth 10%. And now if you're applying for a credit card or a loan, you can ask a few questions about why you are denied, but leave it there and maybe wait until 6 months later to ask for approval again. For example, I was an international student in the U.S. from another country. I wanted to buy a car, and originally I couldn't. My dad gave me $8,000 to buy a used car, so I would only owe about $3,000 on the loan. I wanted to make a down payment of $8,000. The company still didn't accept me for a loan because I had no credit history. I asked how to get credit history, and they suggested I get a loan on something like a television. So I thought I would do that. I went to Best Buy. Best Buy doesn't care about your credit history, whether it's good or bad. They'll still give you that loan. So I applied for that, paid off my balance in 6 months, and then I was approved to get a loan again for my car. That could happen to you as well. Now know that if you get declined for several loans or credit cards in a few weeks, in just a short few weeks' time, it can really impact your credit score. So once you have applied for a couple of loans, make sure you leave it and know that it takes 2 years for that mark on your credit to be approved or to be improved or removed. So payment history and then amount owed. Amount owed says 30%. So for example, if I have a credit card or $3,000 worth of credit, and I still owe $1,500 on it, that would be 50%. You want to be below 30% of the overall credit you're allowed to use. If it's over 30%, that's going to hurt your score. Of course, you can try and pay it off over time, but the goal is to owe less than 30% of the overall amount of credit that you have. For example, if you borrowed $10,000 to buy a car and you paid off $2,000, you still owe over 80%. and that's a challenge. If you're able to pay off a big amount and get to below 30%, that looks really good, and it shows that you are willing to pay things off and you are a safe risk. There are different types of credit. You can see that's worth 10% of your overall score. You could have credit cards, retail accounts, installment loans, finance company accounts, and mortgages. Then you can see new credit. You can see what happens if you have several types of credit. If you open several different accounts in a very short period of time, and you close several of them, or you open and close them repeatedly, that makes you look like you are more of a risk.